Hey, Love Squad. This is the first ever fandom movie edition. We're doing Vampires versus the Bronx, Netflix, Bronx, Morrisania Norwood. What's good? This is spooktacular. We have more horror and supernatural reviews and analysis coming because it is the season. So stay tuned. I am Kim, aka at Glam Pollard. Follow me on Instagram. So let's get into the movie review. So first, I was in the mood. It's Halloween, but I thought the whole garlic and cross tidbit from that preview was a bit plain and a little tired. So at first, I was like, when I saw the preview, I was just like, okay. But whatever. Shout out to Morrisania and Norwood, like I said, the hoods that I lived in when I was in the Bronx. So it was just like, let me just watch. I'm low key, high key, because I'm a New Yorker. I love New York movies. Love them. Love them. I love movies about New York, in New York. It's just always been a thing for me like my entire life. I just love the magic and the energy and the vibe of the city. And one thing I do want to say is that I love how more recently, over the past couple of years, we're starting to see more neighborhoods and hoods outside of Manhattan getting, their screen time. Like people are being introduced to different areas of the city. Because usually when people think about New York, they think about Manhattan. Manhattan is just one part of New York. Manhattan is not New York, okay? It's not. So it's just really good to see that. And you get to see like where people live, you know what I'm saying? What it's like. And that's beautiful. So first of all, I mean this is a stand film. They're standing for something in this movie, and I really appreciated that. So let's talk about the people. First we start with Zoe Saldana, and she's a nail tech, right? And I'm like, wait, who? Wait, what? It's a low key cameo, but that's her. She's cashing in. The vampire real estate investor. We see him talking to her, air quotes, negotiating with her for her nail salon, because they coming in and they taking over, which is, what's been happening for a minute now. We have Method Man. Oh my God. Method Man, the God. How about that? I love the evolution of this man so, so much. Are y'all watching Power? Who's watching Power? They just ended the first half of the season. You know how they do. They have a part one and a part two to the season. Did y'all watch it? Yes, I love him so much. He's the priest, right? And then we have Miguel. Okay, Miguel is the main character, aka Lil Mayor, the politician. We have his homie Louise, the vampire expert. We have Frank Paladoi, who seems to be the head vampire. I'm not gonna give it away. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible. But like you thinking that he's like on his Dracula tip. That's what we think, when we first see him with Zoe Saldana. Then we have Henny, the doughboy that I cannot stand. Ugh, ugh, vomit all over his character. And then we have there is somebody else I think I'm missing, y'all. Yeah, I don't know why I don't see him. There's another friend. There's another friend. I think that another friend. I think I'm missing somebody. McGill had two like main friends, but yeah. So, anyways, Miguel and his friends get vampire targets on their backs, right? Because they're bad for the gentrification business. And this gentrification, I mean, it's commentary, right? They're vampires. They're the ones that's gentrifying the neighborhood, and that's what that. Yo, sidebar, side note. Speaking about vampirism, coincidentally, the queen of Black Beauty on YouTube, Jackie Aina, she just did a video about this. She literally just made a video about this. It's called, I think it's something like the things that Black people made popular. And basically her whole premise was we put stuff on and then y'all take credit for it and then y'all exclude us from it. Check out that video. That's high key what this is about as well. It's like nobody was thinking about this, and then all of a sudden, ooh, we see Black people, we see people of color, the Sazon. Now we want to take it and exclude y'all from it. Like the culture of that. That's what this is about. Okay. So, and then of course, one other character that I didn't mention, there's a HVIC. I'm not going to say who she is. HVIC, head vampire in charge, right? I'm not going to say who it is because I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible for you. But these are the characters. I didn't went all over the place with this, with the people. But you get the point. Like, we're dealing with gentrification. And I remember when I lived in Norwood. Norwood was the last Bronx neighborhood that I lived in. It was really interesting because you could see it was like a high key creep. Like the construction was going on, and then where I live was like maybe 3 or 4 blocks until like where stuff hadn't been reconstructed yet. But then if you were to walk 3 or 4 blocks up, you would see like newer buildings. Like there was this really nice sports club that was out of place in that area. And it's like, why is there a sports club here? They were preparing for something. And that was back then. Oh my God. I think I lived in that neighborhood, maybe 4 years ago. I remember that, and I was like, that's interesting. And it always starts off like that with this. If you've never experienced gentrification or you've never seen it up close and personal, it's always like that. At first, it's kind of like, that's interesting. You see the construction. Yeah, I'm thinking about my mom, and she's like, "Why they be jogging at night? You see people jogging at night that should not be jogging at night in certain neighborhoods. You be seeing stuff that you should not be seeing that you didn't normally used to see, and then the next thing it's little cafes and ish all up on your block, and you can't afford to live there no more. It's really, really interesting. Okay, so that's that. So yeah, that's the premise and what happens. I wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite character, which was Tony. Tony was a bodega owner, and he was like, in certain hoods, absentee fatherism and all that. It is what it is. But he was a good role model and a father to Miguel and his homies, and I liked his character because he was doing the best he could. Didn't nobody say he was perfect, but he really did try to set an example for them. And shout out to any person that does that steps in when nobody else is doing that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. There are so many unsung, unspoken heroes out here that do stuff like that, and they're pillars of the community. We need pillars of all sizes, types, sorts, kinds, and I really appreciated that character and what he symbolized. So we have him, and then my least favorite character, which was that whack AF Doughboy Henry. I couldn't stand him. This was something that really irked me. Just in general, was just like that whole grown man child situation that we see demonstrated here. I couldn't stand his character. A man giving a gun to a child. Like, what sickness do you have in your heart and your mind? Like, I can't. So that was that. Now, let's see here. So Murnau is the name of the vampire property company, right? And they're the developers. They're taking over the Bronx, and gentrifiers are, walking around, starting to pop up everywhere. Lots of, what you doing? What you doing down here? You lost? The commentary from the original people of the neighborhood looking around like, why? Like, what is this? Who are you? Right? And it's interesting because they did a really good job. People don't, in these situations, they're not typically like overtly rude or mean, but like if I'm gonna just use a generalized name. If Becky comes and Becky's asking me, where's the donut shop? I never seen Becky, Becky before in my life. I am gonna be thinking in my head like, why are you here? Like, what? Where do you come from? Because we've been here for 30 years. So it's just that was depicted, right? And then Miguel, he's the one that finds out about the vampires. He puts two and two together. And then him and his friends, they end up doing their research, including watching Blade. Okay, I am so here for the Blade remake. I cannot freaking wait. They picked the right person. Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm so here for that. But we got to see Blade, right? One of the greatest vampires of all time. And they end up having to fight vampires and thugs, as Rita, another one of his friends, put it. Because at first, they having to fight these streets, and they having to fight the vampires. Because of course the vampires recruited the streets to do their dirty work, and they didn't, right? So that's going on. And the community, they have to come together. I mean, this is a stand movie. They have to come together to fight these vampires and stop this gentrification process from happening. For they all end up dead. Okay? So that's that. So let me talk about my likes. I like the stand, what the movie symbolized. It was wonderful. And also from someone who was a part of that community, I lived in the Bronx. Um, it was just good to see that and to see the Bronx getting its time, in this movie, being depicted in this film and being depicted in a more positive light because the Bronx does have a bad reputation. Typically, when people think of the Bronx, they be like, right? It is what it is. And I'm not saying that those aspects and elements, have not historically been true, but there are real people there with heart and soul, and they're the ones who got the spotlight, and that's important. I love also that this movie was about giving the next generation the power to do something. It was the young kids that was doing this. These boys weren't even 16 years old yet, and they were out here beating these vampires' butts, right? I stand for that, and I think that that's important, and also it reflects what's happening now. The younger kids are the ones that's out here doing all of this protesting and really, being activists in the community and trying to change things. And I think that that's wonderful. Then we have, what else? Oh, vampires. Vampires are traditionally astute business people. I respect the hell out of that. Feel how you feel about vampires. One thing I love about vampires in general is how they typically have their S together. Typically, they be having their ass together. When it comes to the finances, now everything else might be a mess. But when it comes to their money and their properties, okay, their estates, honey, they be having that old money. And not just because they old. It takes some good, proper money management skills to manage money the way that they do. They be on their stuff. I respect the hell out of that. Even though these vampires are shady, I respect it. I respect it, okay? The other thing that I loved in this movie was the resourcefulness of these kids. Okay, resourceful magic be the best kind of magic. They had stakes that they made out of chairs. They was making stakes out of mop sticks, whatever they could find. They was making their own stuff. Okay, you don't need a lot to make a lot. Feel me? Like they made it do what it do. Shout out to hood witches and vampire slayers. Like they really did that. And I loved that in the movie. Now let's talk about my likes. It's two things, okay? These grown A men in the neighborhood, like I said, grown A man children. I can't stand that. I cannot stand that dynamic, and I'm over it. And I can't stand it in real life either. It wasn't like they wasn't depicting something that doesn't actually exist. Like I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm just so over it. I was so repelled, on a personal level by that. And then, like I said before, the dope boy giving that boy a gun. Okay. Oh my God. So that's a little spoiler right there, but it's just like, oh God, I hated that. I hated seeing that. So those were the things that I dislike. So, my takeaway from this is, even though neighborhoods get looked at or perceived as being undesirable, people who really are the neighborhoods, they get looked at as being undesirable, like they won't be missed or something like that, uncared for, unlovable, unloved. Guess what? They have heart, they have soul, and they stand for something when it's time to. They come together when it's time to, and that's important. And you might fight and lose, okay? That's a realistic part of this whole argument that's going on. You might fight and lose, but you fight though. You fight. You give people their money's worth and you fight. You feel me? So that was really good. And I liked that. I really, really did. And like I said before, I just liked how they depicted the Bronx. Like that was really good to see. That was really good to see. And, the people that live in the Bronx, like I hope that they liked it because this day hood, this day home. I'm not in the Bronx no more, but I was there. So I hope they liked it. Then we have, let's see here. Ooh, the tidbit. This is the last little bit. Y'all know, if you listen to my Lovecraft Country then you already know I'll be coming with the tidbits. I had to give you a Bronx exclusive. Now, some of y'all may or may not know this, but I am an energy worker. I am an energy practitioner. It's a huge part of my life on a daily basis. I be up in here chatting and praying and saging and burning. So here's my Bronx tidbit. My absolute favorite Botanica on the planet Earth is in the Bronx. Okay. Shout out to the original Botanica in the Bronx, right in Fordham. What's good? Even to this day, even though I'm not still there, I still will make my way. I still will order from them because their online service is popping. You can get your stuff wherever you are. They will send it to you promptly. Don't even worry about it. They are very efficient and very good at what they do. If you want a reading or something for your protection, definitely check them out. Okay, visit their website. I'm gonna link it. But that's my little tidbit. Support the Bronx. And this is one way that I do it, by supporting the original Botanica. They are really good, and they've been around forever. Okay. If you have a chance to visit this store in person, because you might be a New Yorker who ain't never really ventured to the Bronx, right? You might be like, I don't know. Go to Fordham and go to the original Botanica and get you some little cultural like lessons and learn some things. Learn some things, okay? And get your culturalization on. So that's that. Overall, I thought the movie was wonderful. Like I said, I did think that the little aspect of like the garlic and stuff that was played, but it's vampires, so it's to be expected. I feel like I should give this a number rating. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. All right. I liked it. I thought it was cute for what it was. I'm starting to appreciate horror more because of Lovecraft. And this ain't really horror. This wasn't scary. This is more supernatural, which is right up my alley. I've been a supernatural fan, but like I'm starting to like even become more comfortable with horror in general. And since we're doing like the Spooktacular this month, I plan on doing at least 2 more of these videos for movies because that's what I got time for. Y'all got to manage my time. Ooh. That reminds me, stay tuned because one thing I'm definitely doing. I was, y'all should have seen me bouncing around here. One of my all-time favorite movies, The Craft. Did y'all see the remake? It's coming out on Halloween. If you didn't know that they remade The Craft, if you a legendary Craft fan like me, I watched that movie. Oh my God, so many times. I'm so excited. I'm like, on Halloween, I'm gonna be in the house. I'm gonna have my pizza. I'm gonna have my beer ready, my wine, whatever I'm gonna be drinking. I'm so excited. I'm gonna watch the original one and I'm gonna watch that one and I'm gonna come out with that video. Like, I'm so excited about The Craft. Like, y'all have no idea. Oh my God. It brings back so many memories. So that's coming out. I don't really know what else I'm reviewing. I gotta make a list. Michael Myers is my all-time favorite, like old school. I like the slasher horror, so I'll probably gonna do a Michael Myers something. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But other than that, I don't really know. If you have suggestions for me, let me know. Now I know that horror, like I said, this is something that I'm a supernatural lista, but I'm becoming more comfortable with horror. So take that into account if you have recommendations for me, but let me know in the comments what y'all think. What y'all think I should review. All right. Anything on Netflix y'all think I should review. But on that note, we are going to end here. Thank you so much. I hope you definitely get a chance to check out Vampires versus the Bronx. It was a good movie, a good stand movie to support. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.